Hello everybody. Welcome to Sphere. Sorry. Welcome to our live session here. For today, I'm sharing with you all pumpkin rice. Now, before I do so much talking, I would like to start cooking first because some of the ingredients, like for example, the dry shrimp, need to have some treatment done to it first, okay? So as I go along cooking, then I will share with you more about the pumpkin rice, okay? Now, today I'm going to use the pressure cooker here because this pressure cooker has got many functions like stir fry, high pressure, slow cook, and steaming also. So this pressure cooker helps us to cut down on the cooking time by 70%. So let me start heating up the pot first, okay? I will use the stir fry function. And of course, I will have to remove the cover. Okay, later I will put up the ingredient list, but let me just start with the dry shrimp first, okay? This dry shrimp, you can see, you can buy it from the supermarket. It comes like this, yeah? Okay, now, as the name says, it's dry, so you have to soak it in water first to soften it, which is what I have done here. Right, so I soak it in 200 ml of water, but this water I will not throw away because later I will use it to cook the pumpkin rice since all the dried prawn flavor is inside, okay? So now let me just take out the dried prawn and I will just throw them into the pot and let it fry first. Now, you notice I didn't dry the dry prawns yet. So I remember that when I was young, I had to use this ingredient. I have a lot of fear. Why? Because when I put it into the oil, they will start to pip, 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 pip. And then my hands will be full of burn, yeah? But this time now, I'm going to dry it using the pressure cooker on a stir fry mode, okay? So you can see it's wet and then I let it toast dry a bit. Okay, this is going to take a little while. That's why I say I have to start with this dry prawns first, yeah? Okay, now you notice I have a few slices of ginger here to help remove the sang from the dry prawns, okay? Right. So without the oil, while I'm toasting it dry, I will not have the pika of the oil splattering, okay? One good thing about this pot is, this is an 8-liter pot. The height is quite high, so even if it does splatter, it will not splatter onto the table. So I have less work to do, yeah? Less cleaning to do, see? Okay, so now I will just let it toast a bit, then later I will add the oil, huh? Okay, now, you notice I have a few slices of ginger there, okay? Now, to cut the ginger, actually, there are, we use the knife definitely, but I like to highlight here that there are different knives for different function, okay? Definitely the chef knife, you can slice it. So one way of slicing the ginger is I will cut the bottom piece off so that the ginger will not roll when I cut them, right? So when I have a firm base, then I can cut, see, without rolling, right? Now, of course, sometimes you wonder how come some ginger are so thin, right? Then I discovered actually the different kinds of knife used does make a difference, right? There's a knife here, actually one side is serrated, whereas the other side is flat. I realized that actually this is what that helps to slice very thin slices of ginger. So actually when you use the correct tool for work, then you get the better effects, right? So you can see this is more transparent and it's softer, right? Whereas the one that I use, the chef knife, is a bit thicker, okay? So remember, using the right knives help us a lot, yeah? Okay. So now, let me see. Oh, okay, the water is gone. And then I will now put in the oil, yeah? Okay. For this recipe, it's 4 tablespoons of oil, okay? But to be honest, for recipe, this is not like baking cake where you have to be very exact, there's a lot of algorithm here, okay? So if you don't have a measuring spoon, it's okay, you just agar, yeah? So now I'm putting in 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there we go. Okay. So you notice there's not much splattering when I put in the oil, right? Now, I also like to fry the ginger well so that the ginger help to mask the fishy smell of seafood, yeah? Okay? So this is going to take a little while, so while I let it cook slowly, while I let it cook slowly, I will go to other ingredients. Now, this one is garlic, okay? There are actually two kinds of garlic mainly in the supermarket. One is the young garlic. When you go to the supermarket, you'll find them, they're all in bulbs, okay? And then the other one is old garlic, okay? Like usually you see them in bags like this, okay? And they are bigger in pieces. So what's the difference? Okay, like they say, 姜老的是辣，对吗? So it's the same with garlic, okay? Yeah. So it's up to you. If you would like a little bit stronger flavor, then you can use the old garlic. If not, you can just use young garlic, right? So after I remove the skin, I will just slice them, okay? Right. So right, just remove the tail end a bit, and then you remove the skin. Okay. Sometimes there are some bruises on the garlic. You just simply just cut them off, okay? But for example, yeah, right. Okay. Now you can cut the garlic any way you like it, okay? This one I have cut it like this, okay? Previously, my helper also cut it like this. It doesn't matter, it's what you like, all right? So I also realized that the garlic take a bit of time to cook, so I will also put in the garlic in together to cook with the dry shrimps, all right? It's important that we fry the ingredients well because if we don't, then the flavor doesn't come out so well, all right? Now, many times I have asked my helpers to fry the dried prawns, also known as KB, but I always find that sometimes they're in such a hurry, the dried prawns is not so crispy and then they start to add other ingredients. So actually that makes a lot of difference because if your dried prawns is not fully dried from the inside, it has got this little leftover of the fishy smell. So when you bite into it, then some people don't like dried prawns because of the smell, right? But if you were to cook it properly, you don't have the smell and it's very crispy, yeah? So it's still not there yet. But I will add in the garlic to cut the garlic cook slowly, yeah? Okay. Ah, the fragrance is out now. Can you all smell it? Okay. Let it cook, okay? So I have put in my ginger garlic. Of course, the next item I use is the onions, okay? So you have, these are the red onions, the purple ones, all right? You can also use the green ones, it doesn't matter. So I've used 2 medium onions, same as usual, just cut off the bottom part first, right? Then cut off the top part. Okay, just remove the skin and then, yeah. Sometimes there's a layer, the first layer I normally would just discard them, yeah. Okay, so you can cut the onion any way you like it. Slice it, slice in ring, or I have for this round I have actually cut it into cubes. Okay, so let me just. Okay, when you cut the onion, you can actually cut them into two. Okay, let's say if you didn't cut off the bottom, You can just slice it off now, okay? So that when your onion is thrown inside, it will open up. Otherwise, it will stay in the lump, the ones right at the bottom. So to cut into cube, if the onion is bigger, then I'll cut into 3. If not, I will just cut into 2, right? And then half, half, half. So you see, they are now in cube, okay? So you do the same for the 2 onion, right? So since I already prepared my onion, right, I will use my onion here, okay? And this one, I will just keep it first, right? Okay, let me see how is the baby doing, yeah? Okay, you can see the heavy is browning, right? So I let it brown a little while more, and also let the garlic brown. So now you have the fragrance of the dry prawns and also the garlic, okay? Okay, the next thing to add in will be the onions that I have already cubed up, okay? Now, how many onions or how many garlic you use is entirely up to you. If you like more, so you use more. If not, then you just use the quantity that you like, okay? I have added onion as extra fiber and extra sweetness to the pumpkin rice. Okay, the onion will be soft in when you cook it. So now I only stir fry it to get the fragrance out from the onion. Okay, right. And then the next thing that I will add in will be the chicken. Okay, for here I have 400 grams of chicken breast. You can use any part of the chicken, any amount that you like. If you like more meat, please put more. I standardized to 400 for pumpkin and 400 for rice, so it's easy to remember, okay? But if you have less, it's okay. You want more, please do, okay? So this chicken, I have seasoned it with uh, 1 teaspoon of soya sauce, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of sugar, and then 1 teaspoon of ginger juice, of course, dash of pepper. If you like, you can also put in a little bit of Chinese wine, okay? So, okay, then I will put the chicken in to stir fry it a bit so that the juice are being sealed up here. Right. Okay, this pumpkin rice is a very wholesome meal because in it you have vegetables like pumpkin and then later shiitake mushroom. Then you also have meat from the chicken, and of course you get your cuts from the rice. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We let the chicken cook for a while. So when it's all white, then I will add in the mushroom. Okay. Basically, stir fry is actually to enhance the flavor of the ingredient. Okay, while the chicken is cooking, I will get the mushroom out. Okay, shiitake mushroom, you can find it in the supermarket, and these are the fresh ones that I have used. Can you use the dry one? Of course you can. If you are using the dry one, you just have to soak them in water after you rinse them, and then the water that you use to soak the mushroom, please don't throw away, just like the one that I use for soaking the shrimp. I'm going to keep it later to cook it, add it to my rice. So the shiitake mushroom, sometimes you get very big pieces. You can use 8 to 10, or if they're big, you can use less. I found that yesterday when I did mine, I had more mushroom than the rice, you know. So it's entirely up to you, okay? So you just slice them up, okay? Same, simple, any thickness you want. Okay. So here I have about 10 mushroom. Okay. I don't mind having more because I think the fiber is good for us, right? Okay. So you can see this meal is very simple to prepare. All you do is just get the ingredients, and then when you start frying, you cut and then you add them in, okay? So my chicken is almost turning white, okay? So now I put the mushroom in to let it stir fry, yeah? Okay. You see, sometimes I really think my ingredients are a lot more than my rice. Later you'll see when I put in the rice, I will find where are the rice. Okay. Okay, the next ingredient will be the pumpkin. Okay, the star of the show is up now. Okay, the pumpkin here, like I put on the recipe, is 400 grams. So you just have to cube it. Okay. Now, pumpkin treatment. Okay, what you do with it? Okay, when you get the pumpkin, okay, it comes wrapped up. You can buy from the supermarket like this, you know. So normally the weight is there, then you can tell how heavy it is. So um, this one is about 600 gram, no 800 gram. So if I use 400, I will just half it, right? Okay. Now what you do with the pumpkin, the seeds are all in the middle. So you use a spoon, okay, and then you just carve it out, yeah. So it's very simple, okay. Just take it out, and then if you have a garden, you can throw the seeds in the garden, and then your pumpkin will grow. Then the next season you have pumpkin for your pumpkin rice. You don't have to buy, yeah. Okay, like you see, just use a spoon, and then stretch it all out, yeah. Okay, you can stretch it a bit more so all the fibrous part will come out, okay. Then of course you rinse it. Now this pumpkin is already been cleaned. So now let me just throw away the cup. Just let it stir a bit, okay? Now for the pumpkin, just like the ginger, when you cut it, sometimes it's a bit rolling, right? So what you do is you put it firm and then you just cut down. Okay? So from here I cut again, estimate the cube size that I want, then I just cut it down, okay? Right. So from this way, I start to do my cube. And you notice my pumpkin here, I have kept the skin on. Why? Because the skin has got a lot of vitamins and minerals in it, you know. Actually, for pumpkin, it's a very good source of beta carotene. That's vitamin A when it will be converted to vitamin A when it's needed. So it's a very good source of vitamins and minerals, and there's also B, E, and a lot more. Okay, and surprisingly, initially I thought that pumpkin is carbohydrates, but actually it's low on carbohydrates. Go and do some reading. Okay, so just cut them into cubes, right? Okay, like this. Just add it on. Today we have 加料. All right, so okay, let me see how is it good. Right, okay, so now we add in the pumpkin, and then we just give it a stir. The fragrance of heavy garlic and also the mushroom and the chicken. So you see, actually you see half of my pot is already ingredients. So this is actually a very nutritious meal. Vitamins, minerals, protein, everything is there. Okay. Okay. Anything else to do except the rice? Yeah. Okay. Come. This is 2.5 cups of rice or 400 grams. Okay. You just wash and drain them and put it in and stir fry for a little while. Okay. Now, one good thing about this pressure cooker is that even after I off the power, it will still be cooking. So what I do now is just off the power, save a bit of electricity. Okay, it's still hot now. You look at that. Okay, now I put in the rice. Okay, and then mix it up. Yeah. It's hot. So now I will go into the seasoning of the pumpkin rice. Yeah. Okay. I will want to put the water in first so that it's easier to mix the seasoning. Okay. Remember, I kept the water from the dried shrimp. Okay, now for cooking rice, the the rule they always say is 1 cup rice, 1 cup water. So I have already measured 1 cup rice is about 160 ml of water. So if I have 2.5 cups here, I will times 2, 320 plus 80, right? So I have 400 ml of water, out of which 200 is already here, right? And I'll just pour it in. So these are your fragrant, right? And then the other 200, I will use water. Measure it. I used to ask my sister when she was cooking, I said, hey, how much you put this and that? She said, don't ask me, agarism. And now I'm telling you that, agarism. Okay, but for water, we just try to follow closely. In fact, actually, sometimes I will put a little bit less water because the mushroom, the shiitake mushroom itself will give out some water. You notice that when you stir fry it, it becomes very wet, okay? So today I will just put in maybe I will save 20 ml. Okay, right. So now that the water is in, okay, I'll do the seasoning, yeah, right. Very simple soya sauce. Okay, the soya sauce that you use, you have to check for yourself because different brand and different grade has different level of saltiness. Okay, so if you were to get used to it, taste your soya sauces before you use them. So sometimes there are some that are like the first brew, it is very very salty. So I only use that to do my marinade. Okay, but those for dipping or for the food, I will use a better grade, and I realized that when you go by the price, usually you can't go wrong. Okay, I go for the slightly better one. So soya sauce don't have to use too much. Basically, they are there to give a flavor. If you use too much of the soya sauce, you may get something like a metallic smell in it. So I learned, I just put maybe about 1 teaspoon, right? And then for today, I'm using this abalone sauce. You can get this sauce from the city shop at Odeon Towers, okay? Abalone sauce will add a little more fragrance to it, okay? So I will put 1 tablespoon of it. I'm not going to use a spoon to measure, so I just agak 1 tablespoon, okay? Right? And then there's a magic to this rice, okay? This is a 5 spice powder. Now, what is so special about this one? You can get any 5 spice powder, but this one comes all the way from Penang, from a very famous shop, okay? I have asked my friend from the airline to get it from me, so I will use it very sparingly. Anyway, for 5 spice powder, you cannot use too much of it, otherwise it becomes very pungent, okay? So today's pumpkin rice, this is the added ingredient that gives it extra flavor. Okay, so just sprinkle a bit. Okay, not too much. Okay, and then the next thing will be salt and pepper. Okay, I find that sometimes for cooking you still need to have little bit of okay, the saltiness must come from the salt because when you put too much soya sauce, your food also becomes wet. Okay, so with this salt is also a more how to put it? It's a better how to 比较实在, the kind of flavor. Okay, rather than from the soya sauce. Okay, so I will put in 1 teaspoon of salt, and the rule is always put in less, and then you can add later. Okay, rather than you put too much, and then you can't adjust it. All right. So all the seasoning done. Then I put in a dash of pepper. Okay, so now I will mix them up. Okay. Mix them thoroughly. You can see the ingredients are more than the rice. Okay. right? Just level it. Okay. For pressure cooking, there must be some liquid in the pot. Okay, so since this one has got water, it's good enough. So I will just put in the cover. Okay. Put the pressure, and then I will use 7 minutes only to cook this rice. Okay. Now we just wait for the rice to get cooked. So just let me clear up some of the things here. Okay, this is the bowl for the rice. Okay, now let me share a bit about how I started this cooking session here. Okay, I am not chef by profession, neither am I those very passionate cook that whips up fancy meals, but I have 7 to feed every day. So what I do is I will learn recipes, then I will simplify it for my helpers so that they can do it, because my helpers are usually foreigners. So they are not familiar with our local vegetables, um, even the method that we cook, like we have tanna, double boil, we have stir fry, and certain way of cooking that they are not familiar. So what I do is I will learn all this recipe and then simplify them. So that's why I have come up to share with these recipes, which I think will be very useful for those of us who are very busy. You don't have very much time, so you need to still prepare a good meal for your family. So that's why I come with this idea that, okay, I will have this Make Easy Cooking series, okay? So that's why the first one I share today is pumpkin rice. Of course, later there'll be yam rice, there'll be long bean rice, and of course, besides rice dishes, I also will have soup dishes. Why soup dishes? I remember that when I was very little, my mom also was very busy. So we will have this one pot dish, where everything is inside, the meat, the vegetables, all in there. For example, today at home I have cooked the winter melon soup with chicken for my children. So on cool day, actually it's good to have soup, right? But then again, winter melon actually is a vegetable that is good for hot days. Yeah, but since I bought it, I just cook it for them. So next week, actually, I will be cooking winter melon soup with fish tail. Okay, winter melon actually is very good for relieving water retention. I first started to learn about it when I was expecting my number one, and I went to read up on books on pregnancy and confinement cooking. So it says that winter melon is very good for relieving water retention, especially about 5 months later where the legs will be swelling. So it was from there that I remember that this winter melon is very good for reducing water retention. And I also know that some of my friends are pregnant, yeah? So this is good for you. And also some of my friends are also doing a weight management program. So it helps you to have the water retention removed from your body so that you have a more muscle, yeah? Okay, so that will be for next week. And then Wong Si Lai. How did I come up with this term? Actually, last few weeks back, my mentor was trying to help me to understand something. And then he jokingly said, "Do you understand Si Lai?" So from there I thought, okay, since I married to the Wang family, so 我是王师奶. So I come up with this term, 王师奶, 簡單煮食. Because I'm not a chef by profession, so my recipes are all very simple, easy to do, because I must be able to do it, my helper must be able to do it. And also, since I can do it, a person who doesn't cook very much, you also can do it. And I hope that you will enjoy the recipes that I share with you. Okay, now you can see the pressure cooker is they are bringing the temperature up. So once it's ready, it will lock there, and then they will start to use pressure cooking. That you can hear it's already cut off, and then now it's going to start counting down for 7 minutes. Okay. If you were to use rice cooker, normally you cook rice about 20 to 25 minutes, right? So the good thing about using this pressure cooker is that you can finish cooking in 7 minutes for your rice dish. And also, I have used this for cooking many other things. Like my helper herself, She loves to use this. Today she just asked me, said, "Ma'am, how much is this pressure cooker? I want to buy one and send home." I said, "You want to send home?" He said, "Yeah, okay." Because why? She loves it and she knows that this is very useful. Because there are days where we will make stew. So you can see that there's a high pressure function here. Stew normally, when you cook it, it takes about 2 hours to 3 hours. So when I use a pressure cooker, I actually save the time. I cut it down to about 55 minutes. And then there are sometimes I will boil soup for my children. Like I mentioned, the one pot meal, okay? Like for example, this pumpkin rice is a one pot meal where everything that you need is inside. Okay, for those of us who are very busy, you actually don't have time to spend a lot on cooking, right? Okay, this one's overheating. I'm going to off it for a while. So for pressure cooking, it actually saves me a lot of time. And also sometimes after I cook rice, I will empty it out and then I will stir fry my vegetable all in the same pot. So it is a very useful uh, pot to have. Okay, right? Okay, so let it go. Right. Okay, it's overheating. E3 is overheating, so I just let it rest for a while. Okay, then I will on it again, right? So pumpkin, what do we have from pumpkin? Pumpkin besides beta carotene, yeah, there's calcium, magnesium also, vitamin E, vitamin C, and vitamin B. Now from shiitake mushroom itself, there's vitamin B6 and vitamin D. All these are very nutritious for us, right? Plus the garlic and onion and the ginger will help to uh, keep us warm, yeah. So if you are cooking for an elderly, perhaps you can actually slice the ginger and fry it, and then after that you can add it on top. So these are very good for keeping the elderly warm. Okay. Okay, right. Okay. So that's about it. Let me just remove this. Okay. Okay, now today actually I have brought up some vegetables here which I will stir fry later. Okay, so all this I've already washed, and this pressure cooker is good that you can cook rice, you can cook soup, and then you can do stir fry. Since I have some time here, so I will just cut up the vegetables and I do a quick stir fry later for you all to see. Okay, so this is on diet. Okay, most of us, I'm not sure whether you've seen this. Most of us will always eat 小白菜, but I like this vegetable because it's very leafy. And then when you choose vegetable, try to have less stem and more leaves if you can. Okay, so I normally choose the shorter ones. Okay. So just cut them up. Okay. Later I will just stir fry them with garlic, 青草, yeah. Okay, so I will get a few. For the garlic, you can always just smash it. That's one way of cutting also. And then remove the skin. Right. Just cut them up. Okay. So this is minced garlic. Okay. Right. Okay, counting down to 5 minutes. Okay. Right, so this is for the vegetables. Right. So here I have some goji berry, okay, which I will add on to the pumpkin rice after it's cooked. Okay, this is Chinese called 枸杞子. This is very good for eyes, okay. I do not want to cook it with the rice earlier because actually it's not necessary. All you have to do is just soak it with water, and then later I will just top it up on the rice. Don't really have to cook this, okay. And also, I have prepared some shallots for the rice later. So this shallots is actually, we just cut off the onion, and then you fry them with the oil. So the oil I can keep when I do things like steamed eggs or I do noodles. I will use the oil, drizzle over the noodle. But the shallots I will keep, and then I will put it on the rice as garnish later. Okay, so put this aside first. And of course, later I will use some spring onion to garnish and added fragrance to the rice. So this spring onion, I can just cut into small cubes, little squares, yeah. Okay. So spring onion actually gives the hot rice an added fragrance. Okay, I will mix it up together with the goji berries, and later I will just put them into the rice when it's ready. Okay, and on top of that, I would like to garnish the food with a little of the coriander leaves. Now, when you buy these coriander leaves, okay, um, the root, don't throw them away. This coriander leaf root is very good. When you make soup, you just throw them into your soup, okay? So I will cut them out and I will keep them. Then when I make soup, I will throw them in. This is a 比较香 added fragrance to it, okay? So this root, I will keep them for my soup, right? And then the coriander leaves also, sometimes people just chop them up into fine slices, but I find that I prefer to pluck them instead so that when I put it on the rice, they are more fluffy and they look better also. So I'll just pluck them out, okay? And then the stem, I will cut them later. So, see, just pluck them out, okay? And then the leaves, of course, when you buy back from the supermarket, if it's a bit dried up and you keep in the fridge, you just have to revive it by putting some water, soaking them in water, right? So these are the, okay, just put them up here. Okay, right, pluck them, the leaves, okay, right. Instead of chopping them up. Okay, 2 more minutes. Right. In fact, there's a look-alike called the celery leaves. We can also use that as well, but coriander leaves has got a stronger fragrance. And all these are actually very good for health. I remember when we were young, we were so poor. When my mom cooks her dishes, she will put in a lot of spring onion and coriander leaves. And then while we would eat all the meat and the vegetable, my mom would pick on all these stalks. And today, my mom is 91 years old. So actually, all these are very, very good and nutritious food, superfood, yeah, that actually helps the body. My mom is a very good testimony, right? Give you long, let you live to ripe old age, yeah. Okay, so okay, that's about it. And then for the stem, I will chop it up into small. Okay, it's done. Right, let me just cut this into small pieces. Okay. Right. Okay. See, when it's ready, it will call me. Yeah, pick, pick. Okay, I will put it together with the goji berry. Right. So I'll show you what if you were to cut it up. Right. like I mentioned, you just cut out all the leaves. Okay. Can you see when the leaves are cut out? It is a bit flatter, right? Can you see that? It's a bit flatter. So that's why I normally would prefer to pluck the leaves. All right. So since I already cut this one, then I will just put it in. Okay. Right. Okay. The pressure cooker, after it's done, the pressure is still inside. So if you're not in a hurry, you can just let it keep warm inside the pressure cooker. But if you want to open it up, you just have to release the pressure. Okay. Just slide it open and release the pressure. Okay. Now, if you are at home, you can just put a piece of cloth over it. Okay. So now I'll release. And please be very careful. Do not stand in front of the steam and do not put your hand there. This is no time for facial. Okay. You don't want to scald yourself. The steam is actually very, very hot. Okay. Wow. Here it comes the aroma. Okay. Right. The safety feature of this pot is that if your pressure is not totally released, you can never open the pot. So there will be no such thing as the pressure cooker exploding the food all over your kitchen. Okay, so this is a safety feature from the pressure cooker manufacturer. Yeah. Okay, you can see the steam is much lower now. Okay. Right. Let me get my spatula. Get a plate. Okay. See, I can't even turn the cover because the pressure is not completely released yet. Okay. Be careful with the cover. The metal part here is actually hot. Yeah. Okay, see? Still cannot turn. Right. I can smell the rice. Huh? Okay. Last bit. Right. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, the pressure must be all released first. Okay. When you open the pot, always away from you, okay? Right. Okay. Let's see, okay? Now, when you mix up the rice, the pumpkin will be smashed up, okay? So this is where I will put in the goji berry and spring onion, right? Okay. This portion here can serve about 6 to 7 people. So you adjust accordingly to the number of people that you want to cook for, right? Okay. There we go. Okay, this is a pumpkin rice. See, I've already reduced the water and it's still a bit wet. So actually, I can actually cut down the water a bit more. Okay. So depending on the amount of ingredient that you use, you adjust the water accordingly, right? So you can see when you stir the rice, the pumpkin is integrated into the rice. Okay. Okay. Here you are. Right. Just wipe the plate a little. Okay, this is where the coriander leaves will go on top, right? And also the shallots. Okay, more of this. Okay, this is my pumpkin rice for today. And of course, if you like, your chili padi as well. Okay. Thank you for joining me. I hope you're going to try the recipe and then let me know. Every Wednesday, I'll be meeting my friends here to have a hands-on on cooking whatever I share. So you're welcome to message me at 97864986 and come and have a hands-on together. Okay. And then, of course, you get to eat it. Okay. Thank you for spending your time with me. See you again. Bye-bye.